Welcome to another exciting episode of the Epic Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm Brad Sugars, the Chairman and CEO of Action Coach, and today we're diving into the minds of some incredible business leaders, uncovering their real stories, strategies, and the secrets behind their victories. It's not just about success, it's about the journey, the hurdles, and turning challenges into opportunities. So let's jump right into it.
I am Coach Lee with Action Coach Business Coaching, and you are with us on the Entrepreneur Podcast. And my guest today is Alex Badan, and Alex is with GBB Electrical Limited, located near London in the UK. Great to have you with us here today, Alex.
Thank you very much, Lee. I want to say you one thing. You know what? It's sunny London, like no other day. Today we got sun, plenty of heat. The spring is here. So yeah, thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And I love that we're able to have these conversations with people all around the world, thanks to the technology that we have. So we can learn from entrepreneurs no matter where they are, right?
Exactly, yes. And some of us, you know what, as maybe some of you guys were going to pick it up, my accent, I am in England, but I'm coming originally from Romania. So you see, everything is moving up from one country to the other one.
It really is. It's very, very, very fascinating. I love it. Okay, so let me get started because I know people want to know about you. Let's start with the top 3 things you did that made you successful in business, and how can other people follow in your footsteps?
There are loads. I think everyone is looking for to have a recipe to say we put a bit of a salt, we put a bit of pepper, and that's the recipe for success. But it's not like this. There are loads of ingredients to do it. The things that what I did is not going to be in the same order, but I think the top 3, they are like, define your values. That will be one of the things. Make sure that you hold yourself accountable for everything in what you're doing, business and life. And also in the same time, make sure that you'll be in a constant process of learning and to be, of course, willing to learn. Because even when you're doing something, it doesn't have to be a business. It can be your day-to-day life. If you've done something and let's say you fail at something, take the lesson out of it and just use it for the next stage or whatever you are doing. It's the same thing in business. That's why I said one of the things is accountability, because it's very hard for us as a business owner. At the beginning, it was for me to accept that my business is not at the rate and it doesn't grow how I want it to grow because I wasn't growing.
I love that. So true.
Yeah, the main culprit, to put it like this, is the owner of the business. Sometimes we hold back the business because we are afraid to do a step like hiring, maybe because we are afraid that we got extra responsibility, or sometimes we don't know some information, we don't know it because we haven't yet discovered it, we haven't learned it. That's why if you be in a constant process of learn, you will be learning from other people or from the books that you are learning, the seminars. Talking about seminars, you called me at one. We just finished one seminar. It's called Growth Club that we are doing here every quarter, where we are planning for the next 90 days. That's another thing that business owners, they don't really do it because they are so busy on doing the day-to-day stuff. They don't really take a day to plan. So one of the things that I always have to say thank you to Action Coach is that they gave me this day where we are stopping planning for the next 90 days.
Well, and when we first met and we scheduled this interview, we did not know it was your Growth Club day. And so most Action Coach clients go to Growth Club, like you just mentioned. It's a quarterly event where we work on our business. And you have something sitting next to you. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about that award that you won in Growth Club?
Yes, so this came today for managed to increase the revenue for the last quarter. We managed to do it with 90%. This is the 3rd one that we managed to get it as a company from the moment that we started working with Action Coach. And every time the first prize that we got at the Crow Club, it was 151% increase from the previous year. And all over the play, all over the whole year, we managed to do the 3x the business. And this is not about the prize itself. It's about a statement about everything that we do a day to day and that it works. So it helps us to grow. That's all it is. Otherwise, it's just a piece of glass. But it's a statement for us that we are doing the right thing.
Well, and Alex, like you said, you're living your values every day. You're being held accountable in life and in business. I'm assuming your business coach is holding you accountable and constant learning. And you live that.
Yeah, I love it because when you see one of the things when we started doing the business, when someone told me about the values, I was like, what's that? I don't need to know the values. But yes, you have to know the values because my number one values is family. So I wouldn't do anything to harm that thing. Like for example, the main reason and the push behind it that I'm doing this is to have more time with the family. If my business is not gonna give me that, I'm not gonna succeed in it because it takes me away from it. But guess what? On the second place is personal growth, and the third place is the business. Because with me, for example, if I will be in a room, depends on 50, 100 people, and someone will talk something about business, I'll be my ears, will be there to find out everything. So yeah, it's very important to find out because if you don't know what the values are, you will fight against the wall and you don't understand why it doesn't work in the direction that you want because maybe you'll be good on something and your values may be money and you'll be more focused on that side rather than for example me on the family. But yeah, it's very important to define your values and that, like I said, it wasn't the first thing that I did. I've discovered after I think after 3 years being in business when someone said to me like define your values first so you see exactly what's going to be your route that you're going to follow.
I love it. It sounds like you're really living that too, Alex. So when you go back to the beginning, what made you decide to get into business and what made you decide to get into electrical? What do you do in your business?
You know what? All the entrepreneurs, they've got a beautiful story like, oh, I came from a poor country, poor family. In this situation, it wasn't. What made me to go into electrics is because I really liked it to be challenged every day. And with the electrics, it's either the project itself or the work itself is no day like the other. And electrics, you don't see it. So it's there. Every time we install something, we turn on the lights. The beauty of having the lights in it, or like for example, the beauty of having the power to power the Wi-Fi and have this communication. But the truth is that when my son came 7 years ago, I decided to take it serious because I said, now I'm a father and I have to provide for my family. I can't just do a bit of whatever I was doing at that time. I need something to be steady and to make sure that I provide the income for my family. So I will say that my son made me very serious to take the decision and go into then pursue this electrical company career.
Okay, so are you an electrician by trade?
Yes, I am an electrician by trade that I've learned because I've been everything. I've been a DJ, I've been a real estate agent, I had a auto garage. Like an entrepreneur does a lot of things, and those have failed, but this is the one that is really
Okay.
resonate with me.
Yeah, and all those other things you did in your early entrepreneur years helped to guide you to this position today. So thank you for sharing that. So at this particular time, what's been your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
That you know what, this is a very good question. And again, most of the entrepreneurs they're gonna say today we heard a very good story about someone telling us that they last year they lost a contract of 1.6 million and they were telling us how they were going through. One of the biggest challenge with me is that every time when the plan is not going accordingly like I want it to be perfect, is my mental state that I have to fight with it. It's me that I have to fight with it. And it's not easy because I'm not of that. I'm one of the guys that I want to do something today and I want the results yesterday if it's possible. And when the things are not going as planned, I'm not the best company to be honest. And I think I had something like this happening last year. I got a couple of months that it wasn't according to the plan. I wasn't seeing it. I was getting ready to quit. I was thinking it's not made for me. And I think that constant battle with myself, that's what I had to overcome. And I did it in the end, of course, with the help of the people around me, or the help of my coach, the help of my family. It matters a lot of things.
Right.
The main thing is family that it matters to help you overcome this kind of situations.
It isn't most of the time, even with our employees, our customers, our vendors, it's all about our mindset. That's always going to be holding us back.
Exactly. It's everything is in your mind. You know, like they are saying, 90% of the things that you fear, they even don't come true. But when you are in this situation, you are running a business, you are planning and you want that everything to be, the revenue to be exactly the same that you had it before. You want to make sure that you can give those bonuses to pay for the new equipment. You want it. There are months where your projects, you are like 6 months ahead with the project already, the contract signs. And guess what? After that, you got 2 months where you have to do all the sale work and the prep work and everything, and you got no contracts. And that's how we work. And because it's like a wave, it's not everything like a constant growth. That's something that you have to learn to deal with mentally.
Oh,
prepare yourself to overcome those situations. I think one of the challenges in my life that will be in the business, because otherwise the business you can get a big contract now and after it's going to be a small. It's something normal.
like you said, it's every day's different when you're in business for yourself, when you're running a business. So, oh, that's awesome. So, how did you talked about personal growth a little bit, but how did you personally have to grow, or what did you have to learn most of all in order to create this success?
To be honest, I will say from the moment that I've started working with Action Coach, is like I was like a machine gun before. I used to fire after all the customers and everyone. In the moment that the Action Coach came into my life, to put it like this, I niched down and I realized this is one of the best thing I've done, to niche down and to learn where you are and to oversee from an iBird's view exactly where you are. That's one of the things. And I learned from sales. That's one of the things that we have to learn. You have to learn from NLP. You have to learn everything basically. I can't tell you that I've done one thing that I've learned and it helped me. Everything that we put it together, it just made me the person that I am today.
I love your description that you were like a machine gun. When you said that, I instantly could recognize that in some other clients and in myself. Right? We get that way when we're excited about and passionate about what we do.
I'll give you a very good example.
Okay.
The first meeting that we had the first planning day. We said, okay, what are we gonna do? So we looked at it, and I'm not gonna lie, but we had contracts already ready to be done, finished, worth of around £50,000, and I was still chasing the neighbor for £500 worth of job and installing a light. And my customer was like, well, what are you doing? You are going and gonna do the same effort for a small job and for a big job. So what are you gonna do? Just have to choose to go for the big one because it's the same energy that you're gonna use.
Oh, I love that. It's so true, isn't it? Oh, when we can figure that one, that's a good lesson. Glad you learned it early on.
I've learned it and I'm sharing it because, as you know, sometimes the lesson that we are getting is better for others to learn it because we are taking the hard
That's
bit.
absolutely right. Yeah. So let's take a look at coaching for a minute. Why did you get a coach for your business? Because you maybe could have made it without, but you decided to get a business coach. What made you decide to do that, and how has it been good for you?
I managed to grow this business by myself from, I would say, around 4 figures, whatever it started at that time, to 5 figures all by myself. And after that, it was just a constant that it was repeating itself for the 10-15% increase every year. So I was looking around, learning, reading, and I was like, well, how can I take this to the next step? Because it wasn't that you always wanted more, but we can see in the market, for example, London market is such a big market and an opportunity for everyone. It's not like I'm the only one and I'm the best. There are loads of companies, loads of work for everyone. And I was like, if the opportunity is there, now I just have to learn how to get to the next step. And from my experience, I've got friends that they worked with Action Coach, for example, from another country, Romania or another country, and I've seen their growth. And I said, if they've done it and they are close friends, I said, I can do it as well. So that means they've seen something in there. Because sometimes we look at all these interviews, Tony Robinson, even Brad Sugars, yeah? When you look at them, they are like 100 millions worth of. And it looks very far, very hard to reach. But when you get someone that you know, I was with you at the same level and he managed to get at a 1.2 or whatever 3 millions, yeah, it's like, we were the same people, so we can do it. So it's more achievable for you to do it that way rather than to look at the big guys because it looks out of reach a bit when we're talking about Tony Robinson, Brad Sugar, like 100 millions.
That's a really good point that you said that. So you went from growing your business 10 to 15% to growing it almost 100% with the coaching. Exactly. And this isn't about selling coaching. This conversation is not about that, but you said that. That is amazing to me. And it says a lot about you because you did the work and you recognized that there was more opportunity and you did it. You did the hard stuff.
Yeah, at the end of the day, I don't want people to think that the coach is going to come into your life or to your business, going to take your business, is going to take you 3x or 4x. At the end of the day, he's exactly like a sport coach, like Cristiano Ronaldo's coach. He's going to be there to see what you're doing and to try to improve on one side or the other one. But at the end of the day, you're going to be the one who's going to do the work.
Right. Yeah, and the sport coach analogy is really, really a good one because it makes the most sense. And the sport coach can see in things you can't see from behind or from the other side or when you're tired. So same for a business coach.
It's exactly also, if you want to take the analogy like a knife, these days we got access to so much information, but that information can take you only to a certain level. After that you need guidance, you need someone to tell you. Another very good example is for me reading. I took that 1 year, 2 years ago, I think, before I started the coaching. I said I want to read 50 books a year. I managed to do 36 books, but it wasn't 36 books in sales. Imagine 36 books in sales in 1 year would be great. But I've done a bit of personal development, psychology, a bit of sales, a bit of marketing. Once I've started with the coach, he said to me, no, let's focus on what reading. We dropped the number down, but now we're not reading books just for the sake of reading it. We're reading the books to find information, how we can apply it into our business, because if you don't apply the information that we got, it's equal with zero. You know, they are saying that information is power. Information is power only if you apply it.
Well said. I love that. So you decided to read 50 books, you read 30 books, and now you're focusing on reading the books that you want to just focus on the most improvement in. That is brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that.
No, this is, again, it's all experience. You have to go through it to see.
Yeah.
Because you'll see, even webinars that we got now and postcards, here they are good. You can take information out of it, but don't try to get a bit of this and a bit of that, because altogether is not going to give you what you want. You have to focus.
Focus. Niche, even in your learning. Niche down even in your learning, like you say. That's awesome. Okay, so final question for you, Alex, is top piece of advice you have or would like to give to other entrepreneurs?
Okay, I will say, first thing, know your numbers. If you don't know your numbers, you can't measure, you can't change anything. And once you know your numbers, make sure that you know where you want to go next. If you got your goals written down and you've got this well-done plan, after that, you can see exactly if you can achieve it by yourself, or you can get a coach to help you, or you can increase the team. But I would say, one of the things that I've learned, make sure you know your numbers. When you know your numbers, you know where you're heading.
So true. That's brilliant advice. Thank you so much. Thank you for your time today. I know that you've been in an Action Coach meeting and you took the time to do this interview. This is the Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm Coach Lee Gray with Action Coach in the U.S. and I had the privilege of interviewing Alex Badan in the U.K. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you very much. And who knows, maybe one day we're going to have a chance to meet each other at the BizX6B event.
I would love that. Talk to you soon.
And that's a wrap for today's epic conversation here on Epic Entrepreneurs. Huge thanks to our amazing guest for pouring their heart into sharing their journey. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button, leave a review, share it, or hit that bell. But until next time, let's make sure you keep dreaming, take massive action, and stay epic.